Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's always good to see you guys. Anytime Monday comes, I'm excited. I'm happy to be here. Welcome to each and every one of you. For those of you not familiar with me, my name is Mary D. Welch, and you are at the Mary D. Show. Thank you for coming in. Thank you, replay viewers. I'm always happy to see you also. I like to let everybody remind everybody October is Breast Cancer Month. Just so you know, if you are a female, well, tell you the truth, it doesn't matter if you're female or male because they have breast cancer comes in males also, unfortunately. So we all need to be checked and check ourselves and make sure you get checked at your doctor if something's not correct. Take care of ourselves. We have to do that for ourselves. I would also like to thank our replay viewers, as I mentioned, and to tell you that I really do appreciate you. Those of you that come in after the show and you still watch the show, you are appreciated. Today, we have sponsors for the show. The sponsors for today's show are the Idea Club. If you like to get an LLC, if you like to get an S Corp or a C Corp, you want to go to theideaclub.com. Go to theideaclub.com. If you are interested in writing your very first book, you should go to First Book Academy. For those of you who like to write your book, and I say that because that's the hardest book to write, the very first one. And I promise you, it's not as hard as you think it is. Go to firstbookacademy.com. You can sign up. There's workshops and learn how to write that book. Additionally, another sponsor is Henderson Realty. It's the Henderson Group. If you're interested in buying a home or selling a home, you go to Henderson Realty. If you are traveling, and this is a really good one, ladies and gentlemen, because as you know right now, many of the flights have been canceled. People, they think they're going somewhere. Next thing you know, they're not. You need travel insurance because if you have travel insurance, your ticket, you can get the money back on that. You can get, if you have to be put up in a hotel, they really do a good job of taking care of you while you're traveling. Travel insurance is so important. Honestly, we don't move around without it. We don't. We have been stranded. We've been in places where we couldn't get another flight and we had to stay overnight. And even though you may have to pay, you'll get reimbursed. Travel insurance. And one place you can go to get the travel insurance is First Friday's Travel. Go to First Friday's Travel, scroll down, click travel insurance. It's that simple. You can go there. And very last but not least is if you like to get on our email list. Those of you may say to get an email. Emails come, well, I email quite a bit actually, but I'm getting a little slower now. But you get emails about the show. They go out about a week before the show. You get a notification. And if you really want to get on the texting system, well, the email system, you go to marydwelch.com. You can click join our email list. Or if you want to get on the texting system, text the word show, SHOW, and then you text it to 474747. And you can get right there and you can get in the texting system. All right. Oh, one last one before you get to meet our special guest for today. For those of you, and I'm going to say this, it's the Riverside section, National Council of Negro Women. Riverside is, they've already had chartered a section and we're rechartering a section in Riverside. National Council of Negro Women, they're having the installation of new officers on Thursday, October the 28th. It's at the Riverside County Board of Supervisors at 6:00 p.m. Now, if you would like an email of the flyer, if you get on the email list, marydwelch.com, you'll get an email because it's already been emailed once. It'll go out again one more time. So if you're on the email list, you get a copy of the flyer. You can come in person to the event or you can watch it by Zoom. So those of you that are not in the area, you click the link, you can watch it live on Zoom, either of those. So, but you have to be on the email list to get those flyers and those connections. So I want to make sure I announce that to you. All right, that was a kind of quick announcement. I said quick announcement. But we're going to before we get going, I want to introduce you to our special guest for today. Her name is Dr. Sharina Betters. She is the Chief of Equity and Access for San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools. She is a lifelong learner, and she has been in the field of K-12 education for 18 years in the capacity of teacher and administrator, serving students, families, and communities of San Bernardino and Riverside counties in Southern California. Dr. Betters has always viewed education as a means to overcome, and then she is also the first in her family to graduate from college. Dr. Betters has a deep appreciation for education and for the educational process. Dr. Betters is committed to advocating for students and educational excellence through equity. Dr. Betters is a proud parent of 6 children and 1 grandchild. I'd like to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, I know you're saying, what? I lost my connection here. There we go. I'd like to introduce to you, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Sharina Betters. Dr. Betters, are you there?
I am here. I am here. So good to be with you, Mary. Good morning, good afternoon, good day.
And all the above. And all the above.
We are here, y'all. We are here.
I tell you, we have Charles Radney has a comment. Charles Radney, he said, hi. He said, hello, Mary. Hi, Charles. How you doing? And we have Richard Nichols that have a comment. Anytime the comments come in, I always try to say, hi, everybody. We have here come. These are our supporters. This is Gwendolyn is saying, she has a comment. Okay, Gwen, and you said, I have to look up. Here we go. And she says, welcome, Dr. Betters. And then I can't read the bottom part. Can you read it? Oh, what is an appropriate name? No, Betters. I know.
Thank you.
And I'm gonna tell you, and this lady, I'm telling you, she is committed to her community, committed to her family. When I tell you, is there such thing as being overcommitted? and fun loving. She's all of those things, ladies and gentlemen. And I just want to tell you. But first, Dr. Betters, why don't you tell us a little bit about you?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me here. I just deeply appreciate that and being on this platform and this space. I am indeed a lifelong learner. I just view education as the thing. Now, there are other things and other paths and other ways. I don't view it as the thing that in order for one to be successful, but all my life, I have believed in this process of education. And I'll tell you, it begins with my grandmother. I'm gonna give her a shout out. She's not with us, but she's always with me. Her name is Sister Laverne Chase Livingston, and she comes by way of Texas and landed in Arizona. And she was a silent person, but she led with a servant's heart. And she was always so proud of all of I think her children, her grandchildren, as they entered into the education world, and just I think anchoring to that and wanting to make sure that I acknowledged and recognized her was a big motivating piece for me going through school, even early on. And so for me, she used to take me to church as a little girl. And I remember sitting in Sunday school. See, y'all know about Sunday school because Sunday school doesn't disappear.
You don't even hear about Sunday school anymore.
They got to bring Sunday school back. That's where the real learning was. Sunday school, all of a sudden, I said, man, the big church was cool. And I got the music and the rhythm, and that was awesome. And then as soon as that message come on, I try to go to sleep because that was my time to catch my nap. You understand? My grandma had me up early. Thank you, Nana. I appreciate you, Nana. But in Sunday school, that's where I understood how to make those relationships and make those connections and to speak. And we had to practice whatever little performance we were going to do for her little church. And this was the training ground for all things I believe that have aided me in my journey today, right? So because she, and I'm going to use her terminology, because she carried me to church. Right. And she instilled that in me. One of the most, I think, prolific things that I learned early on was that Jesus was a teacher. Jesus was a teacher. And so because I had that deep-seated faith that she cultivated and that she planted in me, and that was absolutely cultivated by others along my journey, I too wanted to be like Jesus. right? And so I wanted to
Mm.
teach. I wanted to teach. So I think that was the formation of it. That was the seed, and then over time, it just manifested itself in various types of ways
Right.
that led me, to here. So I've had the opportunity to be an educator in Ontario Montclair School District. That was fun, and play some basketball and kind of do my thing with the kids and coach a little bit. And it's always
Uh,
fun running to former students because they kind of remember you, and you think to
uh-huh.
yourself, I hope at least I think to myself, I hope I was kind, right? You never want to run up on somebody who
No,
you were not kind to,
no.
especially if they're your car mechanic. I just want to throw that out there. I just want to keep it real with y'all.
You know,
Y'all think about
so
these babies?
I think if I could be wrong, but who you are, the kids know who we are.
Amen.
They know. I don't care. People can say you can hide things, but they say you can't hide them for dogs or kids
or children.
They know. They know who your heart is.
That's right.
And when you said that about being kind, all I thought about was that if you're not, they know that too.
They know it. They know it.
So
and it needs to be a core
I knew you were
competency that
kind.
you carry. Oh well, thank you. That it's always the goal. It's always the goal because
Right.
I need to represent that well. But so kids, definitely Ontario Montclair. From there, I had the opportunity to work and serve in Yucaipa Calimesa Joint Unified School District for a long, long time. And I got to tell you, that place was absolutely a place where. You talk about a training ground. That was a place where I was able to really understand so many different dynamics of people and wealth, right? And poverty. I mean, I didn't come from a financially stable upbringing, but what I
Mm.
did understand was, and real early on, was, I think my cultural identity, my racial identity, all those things were important. I didn't know how those things fractured and looked for other people.
Mhm,
Right. And I
mhm.
think that space, in addition to working with some of the greatest children, I think I have ever worked with some of the greatest
Oh,
families
really?
whom, oh my goodness, whom I absolutely adore. And I used to be on Facebook, but
Uh-huh.
Facebook, so I was able to stay in contact with folks, but Facebook let somebody take over my account. And after that, me and Facebook really haven't gotten back together yet.
Um,
But
yeah,
I would
I
definitely say that was the space, right? That was
yeah.
my space. And then from there, going to Riverside County, specifically San Jacinto Unified School District, having the opportunity to lead some work over there, and then coming right back over here to San Bernardino
Right.
County in this role as the Chief of Equity and Access has been absolutely phenomenal for me. So that's a
Well,
little bit about my educational journey.
I'm listening to you as we were talking earlier. I said, well, I know that, one day you're going to have your own school district. And you
Yeah, you
start,
did.
you start laughing. Because I said, and this is what, and I know, you speak it into existence. I'm speaking it because as we talked, I said, I can see what you can't see. That's all it is.
Sure,
So
sure, yeah.
I see it coming. I see the reality that, you're like, yeah, right. You're laughing because I understand the pressure of it. I understand all of those things, even in your position now. But this is what I've learned too. Somebody has to do it.
You're right, and we do need folks doing it who are have the right mentality, I think, in space, and
Right.
and I will never say I would never, right?
Right.
I just think of my prayer is always going to be whatever the position is, just bring the provision, right? Because I don't ever want to be somewhere where God was. I want to be where He is,
That's right.
and I know that in this
Mhm.
position, this is something that absolutely was a godsend. I never imagined these positions didn't exist. These positions really didn't exist when I was getting my doctorate, right?
Right, right,
4 or 5 years ago. So when you're talking about the evolution of education and what we need,
right.
the value behind this work
Mhm.
is we want to indeed ensure that each and every student has a covering, right?
Right.
You got to have a covering, and these are the
Right.
ways that you do that. So
Yeah.
if that's the will, then I'll follow. But I'm digging this one. So brother, keep me here for.
Well, okay, how many school districts is San Bernardino County over?
So we have 33 school districts, and in addition to that, we also have students that we service as part of our alternative education, and we also have for school districts who give their students to us because we may have more resources or have a better way of meeting those needs of those students. So alt ed, and we also have students with disabilities and exceptional needs that we serve. So
Oh,
33 plus those babies.
right, right. Because I know I was with Rialto Unified for over 30 years.
Mm,
And I know they had county schools on the school site, and how that, the people don't always know that there's so many things going on a school site.
that's
All we
right.
see is the one school,
That's
but
right.
we don't really understand the dynamics
That's right.
of what's happening there, and how those students are being serviced by our educational system. But
That's right. That's
I
right.
applaud you, because I can't imagine 33 school, just the thought of 33 school districts.
It's wealthy, right? It's a lot, and on top of that being a lot, you got to figure. So San Bernardino County, as a county, is the
Right.
largest county in the country. So you are talking about folks in extreme levels. We have a school district that's 4 hours away from where I'm at, which is the central office at 601 East Street, so Northeast Street. So you figure we're right there on the border of Vegas and Arizona. Needles, right? Needles has
Um,
schools in Arizona, right? So I
yeah,
mean, that's part of
yeah.
our school district. So we are all over the place, and every type of student is being absolutely served within our boundaries. So this is the place. If you want to be at a place where you know that you can make a difference in the lives of children, this
Right.
is it. Yeah, this
Oh,
county's
and
it.
we have the Reverend Attorney Monroe Mayvine says, "Welcome, Dr. Betters, and thank you for all that you do." Thank you, thank you,
Oh,
thank you. I
so
know,
kind,
I
so
agree.
kind.
You have to have a passion. This is because, and I say this because it's true. There's no amount of money to pay you for your passion. There is none. No matter what don't get me wrong. I know you have a salary, and I understand all those things. But there are nights that you're there, people have no clue of what it really takes to get the job done. They
Ooh,
think, okay, you come in at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, but you may not leave till midnight. But see, they
right.
don't see that part.
That's right. You know what? And it's not a 9 to 5. Like I said,
No.
I've been now me personally, I've been blessed because I'm able to serve
Yes.
in a role that I've never dreamed of. So when you never dreamed of something, you really can't plan for it. But
Right.
all my life, the preparation that went into preparing me to be in this role, even for my kids, right? My 6 kids that I have 2 left actually well, physically in my presence, but 6 in my pocket. You're not going to appreciate that comment, but that's okay. They can fast forward the tape. Um, but all of them have diverse needs, right?
Okay.
So each and every one of them, some of them, I have 5 girls and 1 boy. And I got to tell you, from the clothes they wear, from the food they eat, some like eggs, some don't. Some,
Right.
don't want to eat meat on Monday because they're whatever, right? They all have these nuances, right,
Right.
to who they are and how they present themselves
Right.
to not just our family but to the world.
Right.
And so being responsive to those was not knowing it was a training ground for
Yeah.
this work and how I want to be responsive to
Yeah.
other students' needs. But I just want to say something real quick on that dedication piece. I always tell folks, and you are absolutely right. When you pay somebody, you are paying them for a service
Mhm.
that goes along with whatever their credentialing is,
Right.
right? Whatever their skill set
Right.
is. The thing you cannot put a dollar amount is commitment. So I'm
Nope.
always hopeful and I hope
Mhm.
challenging folks, right, that your commitment speaks louder than your competency because it's
Woo!
in your commitment. I'm glad you like that, Mary. It is in your
It's
commitment.
true.
That's
It's
right. It is in your commitment that
yeah.
payment, right, is going to be the most rewarding and the most succinct and hopefully aligned with who you feel you are and what you want to leave for this space.
Well, I'll tell you, Elaine Wilson said, "Hello, Mary and Dr. Betters. I made it and I'm ready to learn." She said, and laughed.
Oh, what a blessing.
It says, "Dr. Betters, I love your passion, joy, and your
Oh,
amazing humor."
oh, thank you. Y'all better stop. You're blessing me. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I
Thank you.
tell you, this one, and you bring that energy to ever since like I said, we've met on the WAG meetings, and at the same time, you always bring it with you. I've never seen one time that you was ever speaking, or that we don't feel the warmth that you have
Oh,
for
thank you.
people. And I mean, and we're through Zoom. It doesn't matter. It's still there.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, so we all, I know, I definitely appreciate and everything you bring to that platform and to this one too, because I just want to thank you because you're taking time out of your busy day to spend time, and I just want you to know it is so appreciated. Don't think.
Oh, well, I appreciate that, and I got to tell you, and I'm gonna kind of give a shameless plug to my superintendent because you are right. This is a time thing, right? And right now it's just me as far as my department within this place is concerned, and we're gonna scale out this department. But my superintendent Ted Alejandro, his commitment to equity is what allows me to be able to go across different platforms, including this one, and to have these conversations, right? Because his whole premise is if we are going to live up to our mission statement, which is to transform lives through education, we cannot do that in isolation. Nope. We have to be partners and advocates and have clear language around even what equity is, what inclusion is, what diversity is. For me, the word belonging is vital. So, I got to give a lot of credit to him and him allowing me to be able to be in spaces where we are keeping these conversations at the forefront and not shying away. So, but for that flexibility, but for his support of this work, I wouldn't be able to do things like this. So all that credit goes to him. So thank you for that.
And it makes a difference because you're touching a community. And as we talked about earlier, we're talking to the world. When we're talking here, we're not just talking to San Bernardino County. It may seem like it, or Riverside County, because we're IE, but the truth of the matter is these go worldwide. We're talking to people, touching people's lives, and telling them just how important education is, because the truth of the matter is you cannot function in our society without it. I'm just saying, how do you do anything without it? If you think about it, it is the basis for everything that we do.
Everything.
And
everything. Every career, right? Every way of thinking, every way of being, somebody has influenced that in educational setting. And public school specifically is a place where there is no rejection of someone based on who they are, what they bring to the table. Public school education, by definition, is a place where each and every person has an open door.
That's true.
So ensuring that we have environments that live up to what that vision was for our forefathers, what that vision was as education has evolved, becomes, I think, the cornerstone of exactly what you were just saying. It touches everything. Public school is a public service. Public school is a public service, and as public servants, we have a responsibility to ensure that our students are coming into our school sites and leaving us better, right? Or betters. I'm gonna throw that out there. They gotta leave us betters, right? So they're leaving us better, and we can only do that with thoughtfulness, and we can only do that if we have a sincere heart for the work that we're doing for other people's children.
I'm gonna tell you, I used to tell, just because, like I said, as a teacher, sometimes we'd be in the teacher's lounge talking, and I would just talk to some of my colleagues and say, the things that we say to a child, God said it to them. Because next to a parent is that teacher. We're literally locked arms with the parent because they're with us almost the same time they're with their mom or dad. I have had students say, Mom. I've had them say it in the calling me, that because that's just how closely, if you think about it, the dynamic is as their teacher. And many times, I mean, when you mentioned about kindness, just saying something to a child, just when that child walks in the classroom, or whenever you have a chance to look at a child and speak kindness and say something encouraging, you have no idea. Whether you're a teacher, a parent, it doesn't matter. You can be an aunt, uncle, you are affecting that child's life.
That's right. That's
And I
right.
always
That's
tell
right.
people, many in the book, I'm gonna do my shameless plug here.
You got to do it.
the book that the book that I wrote called "Saying No Nicely." The one thing I give in that book, this is so now you guys get to get one of the points from the book. I say when you speak to that person, if a person's coming to your desk and they're asking you to do something, and you want to say no, stop what you're doing and face them and then speak. But if you the key, they will hear you. They will not hear you when you're typing on that keyboard and you're speaking. They don't hear that because you're not giving them the respect. You're not stopping and respecting the fact that they took the time to come and ask you whatever it was that they needed. But those are the little things when kids are talking to you. Get down, if they're little ones, get down and talk to them. Get on your knees and talk. They just love that. And what they normally do, honestly, they hug you. Because now you're at eye level.
And you know, Mary, not only that, I would also say that when you're talking about humans, we're all relational. Listen, everybody
Yes.
wants to be loved. Everybody
Yes.
wants to be loved. It's an innate thing. It is a core
It
piece
is.
of how we were just designed. And we
Yeah.
might only want to be loved by one or two people. And some of us want to be loved by the world, right? Or
Right,
somewhere
right,
in
right.
between. But everybody has that they want to feel
Yes.
like they belong. They want to feel like they fit. They want to feel like they're accepted. They want to feel like they're heard. They are valued,
Yes.
right? And so when
Yeah.
we're talking about what that looks like, not just on a human level,
Right.
but in areas where differences exist,
Right.
right? And so differences naturally will breed conflict.
Mm.
Differences will naturally breed conflict. If differences are breeding conflict, we have to be able to resolve conflict because not all
Mm.
conflict is bad, right? There is healthy conflict
That's
because
true.
conflict forces you to make some decisions.
Right.
Conflict forces you to either evolve or to educate yourself or to change,
Mhm.
right? And it doesn't mean you abandon whatever your core value is. It simply
Right.
means, am I making space for
Right.
difference? And
Oh,
so
I
those are
like
the
that.
conversations. Oh, well, thank you. Those are the conversations. You
Mm.
sounded so much like my grandmother a few times. She used to have this really big, important thing. Now, I didn't grow up, I'm going to reveal some stuff. I didn't grow up with all this instant access that our kids have, right? So I didn't have the internet as
Mm.
a child. Um, that's been a different thing, right? I didn't have all this fancy stuff. I grew up in the age, man, if you wanted to go be cool, you had to go get a big old boom box and you had to put it on your shoulder. You know, you had to practice that two-step in that mirror all day long because if you didn't have those two-step together, it didn't matter if you could do everything, but you better have the two-step. So I grew up in a different era,
Right.
and I think our children, I always tell this story about oatmeal. So my oldest daughter, I remember when my grandmother used to always make us, for me and my siblings and my cousins growing up
Mhm.
in Arizona, she would make us this gigantic, vat of oatmeal. And
Right.
how she made it was divine. It smelled a certain way. The texture was a certain way. The way
Mhm.
that butter just, caressed every single oat and that brown sugar. I don't know how she put that concoction together, but it was incredible. And I would
Mhm.
look forward to that every weekend when she would pick me up.
Oh,
And I got to hang out and I remember I tried to pass that on to my kids. I couldn't do it how she did it, but
right.
I still got the slow cook oatmeal and I would put it on the stove and I got
Right.
my little butter, and it was beautiful. And I'll never forget my oldest daughter was about 13 at the time. And I was doing my thing and I'm working and I was trying to sleep in on this Saturday. And she came in, she woke me up and she said, I'm going to make everybody oatmeal. And in my mind, I was like, it's not going to taste the same, but I can't wait to go have this oatmeal. And I
Yeah.
go downstairs because she came and got me and said the oatmeal's ready. And I'm looking around. I don't smell oatmeal coming down these stairs. The kids all got bowls. I'm thinking she about to serve us. I'm like, okay, where's the oatmeal? And you know what? And I did this for them when they go to school, but they knew on the weekends we had real oatmeal. She went and got the instant oatmeal
Mhm.
and made everybody this instant oatmeal.
Yeah.
And we got into literally a Cold War of silence after I got done expressing to her how unhappy I was because this was not my Nana's oatmeal. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. And she didn't know, and I had to be the adult and go back and apologize because I realized where I
Mhm.
went wrong, right? But
Yeah.
when you're talking about how we're trying to facilitate needs, because some kids need a
Mhm.
hug, some kids need your undivided attention, and some kids really just need you to give them some direction and leave them alone, right?
Mhm.
So those things depend.
Yes.
right? And we got to be able to meet those needs. But
Yes.
for her, she was doing a good thing. She was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And she didn't understand the emphasis or the importance of how I connected what oatmeal was.
Yes.
And I
Because
think for us to
that
connect,
was your connection to
that was
oatmeal.
my connection.
Ah.
See, and I think our youth connect differently.
Yep.
Right. So what worked for us might not work for them.
That's
But if
right.
we are going to value them, then we got to put what works for them ahead of what worked for us.
That's
We
right.
can still
Right.
give them and encourage them and value what
Mhm.
we value and cultivate that and teach that and
I
plan
love
for
it.
that, right?
I
But we
love
also
it.
have to value what they value in order
Woo.
for us to keep this thing sustainable.
What we got to do is we got to figure it out how to get to them, because we're losing people in the educational arena. There's not enough people that look
Yeah.
like us. They want to be
Mm.
teachers that have the desire to teach. So somewhere we've got to make this. It's a disconnect.
That's right. That's
We've
right.
got
And some of that disconnect, I think, is probably rooted in. So as a kid, I never had a teacher that looked like me ever. Not
Oh
until I
my
got to
God.
college. Yeah. Like so, and that's in 2 different states. So that's in Arizona,
Ooh.
and I not once had one teacher that I sat in their classroom and they looked like me. It did not happen. And that it was a game changer for me. But I got to tell you, I'm also very blessed by the folks who did not look like me, who put me under their wing, who
Right.
spoke greatness into me, who
Right.
encouraged me. I had this counselor. Counselors, my goodness, they're so important. I have this
They
counselor, and
are.
I tell this story sometimes, and I don't want to cry about it. I'm known to drop a tear every once in a while, but I'm gonna be strong, Mary. I'm gonna be strong. So I had these
Come on,
counselors.
Dr. Betters, you can do it.
I remember being in middle school, right, in Arizona, and it was these 2 young white ladies, and they called me in. And this story is so, I mean, they will never know because I don't even like know how to get in contact with them, but this has always stayed with me. But they gave me this book, and it was a big old book about famous African Americans, and it had like Oprah and Dr. Maya Angelou before I even knew who Dr. Maya Angelou was, and I
Right.
knew who Oprah was because that was my girl. But it had all these folks, and page after page, it had all these stories. I'm sitting there, and they gave me this book, and I'm in their office, and I'm flipping through it. I'm like, man, this is spectacular. So I get to the end of it. And at the end of it, I think I was in 7th grade. And at the end of it, there was a blank page. Because you know how a book ends. You're an author. The book ends, there's a blank page, right? So there was this blank page. And so I closed the book. And you talk about speaking it into existence. I closed the book. And one of them opened the book back and went to that blank page. And she said, "What's on this page?" And I looked, I was like, "Nothing. There is nothing on this page." And she said, "Sharina, listen to me." She said, "Sharina, we expect your face
Woo.
to be on that page.
Preach.
That is who you are. Your impact." I mean, I'm sitting there, and I was in such shock looking at them. I'm still mad. I had to eat lunch in here with y'all, and I'm just trying to kick it with the homies. But these 2 young ladies spoke such life into me at a time where not only did I need that bit of encouragement, but that isn't how I saw myself. I still don't, but that isn't how I even remotely associated myself, right? So the power of educators to teach across those differences, right? And they didn't look like me, but what they said has always been carried with me and will always sustain me, right? But we need educators like that, right? That are able to reach and teach and cultivate and lean into discomfort and be willing to take the risk of what it means to stand in the gap for.
And I'm gonna applaud those ladies, because that's who they, like you said, they spoke it into you. They saw you and they knew who you were. And that time they took, it affected your life
forever.
See, that's huge. It's, oh my goodness. We have Charles Radney here. He said, as a husband of a county JUSD special ed teacher,
join. Let's go.
He said, understand how overwhelmed you are. That's one. I have, and then we go back because it's a couple other comments I think came in since we were talking. I just tell you, because we get so into, that's a book right there, by the way. If those of you that want, I'm you know what, and I can write it. I'm telling you.
Well, let's talk about it then.
People don't realize the things you guys do every single day are books. They are, but it doesn't sound like it is because you just you're telling a story, but that's really what it is. I think I missed someone first, and that is that Adiola. Adiola, I didn't see your. What is your comment, Adiola? You say hello, Mary. Like, yes, say hello, Mary and Dr. Betters. Hi, Adiola. How are you? And then it was another comment. I always, because I'm going to go down. I always try to go back and acknowledge every comment. And this is from Margaret, and Margaret she says hi. It's just, oh, be cool, Margaret. Is that Margaret? And just make sure I have the right name. So I know names are very special. Okay, Magdalena. See, so cool. Hi, Magdalena. How are you? We enjoy all of you. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for being here. And I'll tell you, there's some more comments coming through. And I saw one over here.
While you're preparing those, I will tell you, I always emphasize name, but I'll tell you a personal story, man. You're getting the good stuff in here, Mary. I'm
getting the good stuff. Come on.
People don't have this good stuff, okay? So, but I remember same school, in fact, and again, being in 7th grade, I remember my English teacher. Mm-hmm. And I remember I was always so I had an older sister that wasn't necessarily studious, mm-hmm. And so we have an uncommon last name. So all my early years, I had to overcome mm-hmm. the fact that people didn't like her, and so they immediately would treat me badly, right? Because of that. And then so when I started having my own issues, it was really just a recipe for disaster. But I remember in 7th grade. Being in English class, and there was this lady, and she was just the nicest lady, and she was way older, white lady, way older, mm-hmm. And nobody knew how to say my name, so I've always had a nickname, right? And so the kids had a nickname for me, and I wasn't even worried about it. I had a nickname, and so I remember her daughter was pregnant, mm-hmm. and she would always give me, like, I used to be the little teacher helper because I would finish my work too soon, right? And so I got to like kind of be her little assistant. But I remember she gave me some papers to pass out, and then a kid raised their hand, and they asked her, they said, hey, so because she was telling us that she just found out that her daughter was having a daughter. And so she says, some kid says, hey, what are you going to name your granddaughter? Mm-hmm. And she says, I've been talking to my daughter, and I really want to name her Sharina after Sharina.
No.
You don't even understand.
No.
What even that did to me, right? So in a space where I was one of the only Black people with a very big name like Sharina, right? For her to say that, my little chest just stuck out. And I got to walking around like, which I walked with it, right? It was on, right? That was so powerful. But again, that's the power of connection. Right. And that's the power for her to be able to understand, and I'm sure she probably did fancy me a little bit, but for her to make that affirming, simple statement. Yeah. Right. And thereafter, I told everybody, man, you how to get my name right. I'm Sharina. Just in case somebody else wanted to name their grandbaby after me. Let's get it right.
But and then what happens, you're teaching people, that's all. You're teaching them that this is your name and to really respect your name. And I tell this, everybody probably know this, but anyway, the sweetest person, the sweetest sound to anyone is their name. Right. Their name. I know, and as a teacher, I really, really made a point. I would get my student list before school started, so I can start learning the names. And then if I got it wrong, on that day, then I would have them, I said, I need you to teach me your name. And they're like, oh, everybody gets it wrong. I said, no, I want to get it right because I know you like the sound of it when it's right. And it's true. It resonates with us when people, they care enough to call our name. I don't care who you are. I don't care what age you are. People love the sound of their name. So so you know, ladies and gentlemen, get that name right. Get that, because it matters.
It matters.
People think you said your chest was.
Girl, I was what? Couldn't tell me nothing. It mattered.
Because now, did she name her grandchild after you?
To this day, I don't know. And it's because I was going through my yearbook
Mhm.
and that I had. That's a story too. But the staff, for whatever reason, doesn't have any pictures. And I'm so hurt by that. Shout out to
Oh,
all the people who might be doing yearbooks, but let's make sure you work super, super hard so that every single person's in there. But they didn't even have a staff section. So I couldn't even go
oh.
back and find these folks. And I would love, I don't think she did. I would just love to go tell her daughter or even her granddaughter, right? Who
And
would
you know,
probably be
it doesn't
hurting.
matter. This is honest. It doesn't matter because just the fact that she, number one, said your name correctly. Number two,
Right.
said she would name a grand, just saying the words, whether she did it or
Just
not.
saying it. Right. Just saying it, right? It meant the world to me, and I just want them to know
Oh,
who their mother or grandmother was. And I know she was very elderly when
mm,
I had her. So
mm,
I don't know if she was near retirement or if it was a sick. I really don't know, but I know
right,
she was. She wasn't like the counselors that were super duper young.
right,
But so I would love to just acknowledge her and acknowledge to her family because
right.
I think that matters. Like how I will never forget. Oh my God, I'm starting to get a little teary because
Yeah,
Dr. Maya Angelou says people will forget what you say, people
yeah.
will forget what you did, but they will never forget how you
You
made
made
me
them
feel.
feel.
I will never ever forget how she made me feel. Right.
Ooh.
So I want to acknowledge her to her family because
Mm, mm,
that is
mm.
one of the things that I anchored myself to
Yeah,
and helped to propel me to any through any difficulty that I might have been having. And more importantly, it was also one of the guardrails that I used in who I wanted to be for my kids, right?
yes.
Both at home and in my workspace.
Right,
Like
right.
I wanted to be that lady. I wanted to be that lady that made other people feel like,
Like that.
that
Yeah.
they mattered and that
Mhm.
that who they were and their identity like mattered. I
Yeah.
wanted to be that person. And that's
Oh
the
my goodness.
influence of a great teacher. That's the influence of a great teacher.
Well,
I can't tell you
here's
one lesson we learned in English. I tell you what.
you know why? Because that was more important than any lesson. That lesson that you learned right there was more important than any English lesson she could have taught
That's right.
you. And we have another great teacher here. And this lady, she not only, I mean, excellent teacher. She helps, even to this day, helps people find scholarships. If you are looking to
Wow.
help kids go through, get scholarships for college, I mean, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars she's helped children to help educate the next generation. And this is Elaine Wilson. And she says, now, those two ladies saved you with all your possibilities.
Mm.
They didn't see your skin color, but they knew they needed to awaken things in you.
Ooh,
All caps you.
you said it.
That's
You said
huge.
it. You said it.
Oh, and that's really saying it's not a matter of skin color.
Right.
Like you
Right.
said, none of these people look like you.
Mm-mm. And
And
I
they,
know we get stuck on that, Mary.
yes.
And again, we're stuck on it because things along racial identity or ethnicity, are things that we get stuck on because we have lost our ability to have rational conversations about difference.
Right.
And so
Right.
what we have reduced ourselves is if I just say I don't quote unquote see, then I become a person that is racist or non-bigoted or what have you.
Right.
And the
Right.
reality is everybody wants to see. We're both wearing glasses. If
Mhm.
we took off our glasses right now, we'd be having a different experience right now. We can
Yep.
fake it till we make it, but I guarantee you we need these lenses to see.
Yes.
So how my experience in the world, right? Being a
Mhm.
black girl, not being able people be able to say my name. I didn't think it was too difficult, but whatever. Not being able to say my name, those things matter. So to be able to be seen and
Mhm.
valued, you don't stop there, but to
Right.
acknowledge that's a part of your identity, a part of your story, being a
Right.
girl, being a boy, or maybe even transgender, whatever the situation might be,
Right.
the world is also giving you a narrative about who you are. And our children don't have the cognitive ability
Mm.
to override that narrative, especially if it's a negative narrative, to inform who they are. Right. So
Mhm.
it takes
You're right. You're
all of
absolutely
us to
right.
get together, right? And say,
Yeah,
hey,
because they
listen,
don't. It takes. Think of the way they lifted you up, because that's what they were doing. Your self esteem went up tremendously.
That's right.
Think about that. How you
That's right.
it affected you, like you said, to this very to your very
That's
core.
right. That's right.
So if we understand that, we know that we can do that for other kids too.
That's right.
It's not like if they did it for you and it can't be done again.
That's
We
right.
can do it, and I think, and I'm sure you probably would agree, adults need it.
Woo! They they need it more now. Listen, I think the hardest job right now is being a superintendent. I got to tell you, them folks got it real rough. That's why I'm always trying to applaud my superintendent as well. But when you talk about the adults needing it, a lot of the things
Yes,
is the vehicle that we're utilizing to transport our children. The vehicle doesn't have all its working mechanisms.
correct,
So
correct,
sometimes that little dashboard, we call it the California dashboard, but sometimes the internal adult dashboard, right? My empathy is low.
right.
My
Yeah,
compassion is low because I
exactly.
never myself had to be
Right.
in a situation where I had to build that as part of a core of who I was or even knew that was a thing. So when we talk about whole child, for example,
Mhm.
um, we're asking people to do more with less, right?
Right.
And if we're going to ask them to do more with less, then we
Mhm.
need to honor where they are getting stuck at to deliver
Mm.
or more, right?
You're,
And
you're
so the
right.
adults, the superintendent has to feed, the people under them, their administration.
Right.
The administration has to be able to feed these teachers and so forth and so on. Because at the end of the day, the people
Mhm.
who have the most contact with your child,
Right.
people at these school board meetings getting crazy. Look, the people who have the most contact with your child
Yeah.
are these classroom teachers,
That's right. I mean,
right?
like I said, they are truly the parent substitute during that time period. There's no way around it. We have Vanessa, is it Harrington or Horrington? I don't want to say it wrong. You see, I'm about names, but Vanessa, thank you. Hi, Vanessa. And I want to make sure. I mean, if you make a comment, we're going to acknowledge you. Let me tell you, I'm going to go out of my way to do that because it is so appreciated, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to do a recap right now for those of you that are coming on. Today, we have been honored to have Dr. Sharina Betters. Did I say it correctly?
That's me.
I want to make sure I got as our special guest today, and I am so honored to have her here. She currently is with San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools office, and she's the equity, I know it's the equity and access officer.
Chief of Equity and Access. You got it.
Chief of Equity and Access, and I am so just elated to have her. Not only does she does her job, she does it excellently, but she does it
Thank you.
in such a way that people are honored by the way she does it.
Well,
She's
thank
not
you.
just doing the job; she's making sure that person is respected, that person is appreciated, that all of these things that they're acknowledged for the work that they are doing in our community and with our kids. Remember, this is the next generation coming behind us. These are our next leaders who are coming behind us. I know when you probably have seen it. Obama had in the third grade the book he wrote and said, "I will be president." I don't know if that has affected me. The fact that in I think it was third grade, he wrote it down, and they have the book that he wrote it in, and how he said, "I will be president." How many people along that path did he meet that helped him to become
That's
that?
right.
And the obstacles. Remember, I remember when he first announced. I'm getting off subject, but when he first
No, you're good.
president, and I remember my mother called me. I said, "Mom," we were talking on the phone. I said, "Mom," she said, "he's going to be the next president." Now, this is at his announcement. I don't know if you remember back in Illinois. So I remember hearing. I said, "Mom, did you notice that that's a black man? Did you notice that, Mom?" I said, and she said, "Let me just say this, Mary. It is not due; it's overdue." And this is from someone that was raised in the segregated South. And I'm sitting here going, "Mom, do you not see what I see?" And she said, "I don't have to see; I have to know." And I was like,
That is
"Okay,
powerful.
I have
That
to
is
know."
powerful.
It is.
Ooh.
What is it that we know, ladies and gentlemen? What is it that you know? That you know so much that you don't even know what you know. Let me just say that. But I will tell you, Dr. Betters, what you do know is that people need love, they need attention, They need
Mhm.
affection. They need the things, they need emotional attention. It may not be always physical, but it can be just acknowledging that I'm a human being.
That's right. That's right. And
Acknowledge-
let me pontificate that just a little
oh,
bit. So
please,
he's
please.
not on the board anymore, but I want to mention a former county board member, Hardy Brown, the second.
Oh,
When I first came on, he was so pivotal in
yes.
doing exactly what you just said. He called me. He called other people. He had me on FaceTime, Zoom, Meet, all these various platforms because his whole thing was, I am going to use my platform to
Mhm.
put you in contact with as many people as I humanly can because I want this work to be ubiquitous throughout
Woo.
our entire county, right? I want this to be something that is sticky and it can't stick. I came on during a pandemic. So work like
Mhm.
my first day, I mean, I sat down and and I met with my boss, Ted, and he walked me around an empty building.
Mhm.
Right, this is where so and so is going to sit.
Right, right.
Right, and I got all my I got all my stuff. He gave me all my people to contact, and I had to go do it all virtually. Right, and I say that because that was the time we entered. But the understanding of both those leaders was that even though this is our current circumstance, this work, because my position wasn't created in response to anything. My position was created because this was the mastermind and the plan
Mhm.
to fulfill the vision of transforming lives through education. So it
Woo.
wasn't reaction to anything other than we want to make sure that each and every one of our students are covered in this school system. And
Right,
this is the means to get there, right? So the fact that, Hardy leveraged his contacts and his people
right.
within the school districts and different platforms, the fact that my superintendent did the same thing. This man, even when we came back, right, every time there's a superintendent or a leader that rose to this office, he'd come to my office and he'd say, or he'll call me down and say, hey, Sharina, here's who I want you to meet, right? Because
Yeah.
he wants them to know that his commitment to equity
Woo.
is unstoppable, right? This
Love it.
is not
Love it.
something that is performative. This is how we are going to do things.
Come on.
So when you talk about the leader setting the tone, right?
Yes.
Both with Hardy, I know he's gone now, but I still want to give him his shout out for that. And with Ted, when they set the tone, the leader gets the ecosystem in line.
Mm.
The leader says, this is how we're going to do things. And that is going to set your ecosystem. So the ecosystem,
Mhm.
the posture of equity, the positionality of where we're going, us
Right,
facing in the right direction, I always
right.
say, is because the leader said, this is what we're going to do. Right.
Woo.
And I need every single person to understand. I don't want to
Mhm.
shoot a commercial for Ted, but I deeply need every single person to understand that when we're talking about the pressures, because it's
Mhm.
not like he said it or he's making these moves and he didn't take any shots when it happened. It's not like he was
Correct.
in this bubble and people are like,
Right,
oh my goodness, yes, we that did not happen. Right.
right.
So we know that the pressure that has been on him,
Right,
even in creating a position like this,
right.
has been large. And even with that, he has shouldered it and he has said, and the work will continue. And the
Mm.
work will
Mm.
continue. I'm gonna quote Dr. Judy White because she dropped this one line on me. I forgot who she said, but she's gonna get credit for it today. Until, right? It has to continue until, and that
Until.
until part is going to be until it's done. So
Woo.
I can't give him enough credit. And Barb, his wife, at the time she came in right when I was leaving, and
Mhm.
and she put me in contact with the folks who are working on the Cradle to Career roadmap, who were the element groups, and just working with so many people, so many key people who are
Mhm.
making decisions around this county as partners, and putting me in those spaces to say, this is what we are going to do. Right. And to
Woo.
elevate that work.
I love
I
it.
can't brag and be more proud of
Right.
them as leaders because this is how you get this thing to work and to flow throughout our entire organization,
Oh,
inside and outside. Right. Yeah.
and then what you're saying is it's a top down. It's a
Oh,
top
without a
down.
doubt.
And so
Without a
how
doubt.
they're raining down on the entire county. This
Mhm.
the thousands of lives that you got
Woo.
that you're touching. is really no way to even know the power
Right.
of what that really is doing to the entire county of San Bernardino. And
That's
I'm just,
right.
and it really, if you be honest, it's really more, it reaches further than that,
Without a doubt.
because we take our thoughts and ideas, they don't stay with us, they go with us.
That's
So
right.
wherever they, like you said, he's not just saying these things. He's telling everybody
Oh, everybody.
that
Oh,
will
everybody. And that is the level of, and again, I'm gonna go back to our statement about commitment, right? That we had talked about. So we can talk about getting paid for your competence. We can talk about the amount of hours. But when you talk about legacy, and when you talk about the commitment piece of how this has to look and what this needs to be, because we know that what we have been doing, we have the data. We got enough data. I don't need any data trackers. We got it. We got it. We know who's failing. We know when they're going to fail. We've been predicting it since people were in the womb. Like, we got it.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do about it? Right? So what are we going to do about it? And I'm not saying it just because of my position as a chief of equity and access. I'm saying it because as a classroom teacher, as a parent, as a community member myself, right? As someone who is deeply in love with the idea and the concept and the dreams of what children want to be. If we don't get behind this, if we don't strengthen our democracy by ensuring that people feel like they belong, by ensuring they have access, by making sure that their options are available to them, right? They got to have options. If we don't do that, now, if you choose to go left or go right, that's cool. But we got to put people in the game. Put people in the game. So having that level of support and that level of collaboration with every single person, that's where we're at. And so my commitment is to be with that same energy, right? And to bring all that same passion as, some of us have described so far, because that is what it's going to take to move this mountain for our kids. And they deserve to have mountains moved.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Ah!
Me too.
Well, I'm going to say this because I know as I said before, I'm putting it out there. I know this is not right away, but that you will be a superintendent of schools, whether it be a school district or the county schools. I'm just saying, I see it for you.
Well, thank you for the support. I love that. Thank you so much.
Yes, and I want to make sure I'm going to do a roll call really quickly, because I always go back and I like to call the names of everyone that made a comment today, and they are Charles Radney. Hi, Charles. Then we have Richard Nichols, Gwendolyn Stringer, Charles or Aaron Dill. I don't know if it's Aaron, but Aaron Dill. Hi, everybody. Did I get your comment, Aaron? I think I did. Okay. Yep. See, I think I did. And this is the Mary D. Show. And also we have attorney Reverend Maybon, Elaine Wilson, Charles Radney, Janetta Hughes. I don't think I saw Janetta. Let me go in and put yours up. And then I see Margaret Hill. Hi, Janetta. And I see
Dr. Hill. Dr. Hill.
Dr. Hill.
You better talk about it. Oh my goodness, that lady is my heart.
She made it. You made it on in there, Dr. Hill. And she said, good information. Remember people, including children. Remember what you say and how you say it.
That's right.
That is the truth. That is the truth, Dr. Hill. I know. And there was one more comment, because I know we're getting short on time. Got about 2 minutes. I want to make sure I like to get them all in, because I don't want to forget anybody. And let's see. Gwendolyn. Okay. Gwendolyn says, let me see. And we get your comment too. And as we're getting near the end, I want to make sure I thank you, Dr. Betters, for coming today. It is an honor, and I am just so excited about everything that's going on with the educational projects you have, your passion projects, your love for education, your love for people. Just all I can tell you is keep up the wonderful, wonderful work that you're doing.
Thank you.
Please do.
Thank you. Thank you. You bless me. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me. And thank you to everybody. And hello, whoever's watching and listening out there. I appreciate you spending some time with us this afternoon. Thank you.
Gwendolyn Stringer says, I truly enjoyed the show today. Thank you, ladies, for the combined wisdom on education and excellence. Hi, Gwen. And Gwen, this is my cousin. So
my cousin.
I know. I tell you, anytime you can get family support, I love it. Love it, love it, love
That's
it.
right. Me
So
too.
I
It's
like to thank
amazing.
each and every one of you. We're down to 1 minute. We appreciate you. We love you. Oh, don't tell me. 2 more comments came in. I'm trying to hurry up and catch up. We are, because I don't like to miss any. This says, so I can get it in time. And it says, I've been on most of the time. Good job, ladies. Oh, thank you, Dr. Hill. Thank you.
Oh, thank
I
you, Dr. Hill.
know. Thank you, thank you. She sees we do more laughing than anything.
That's a living legend right there. My goodness.
Oh my
So grateful. So grateful.
wisdom, wisdom, wisdom,
Incredible.
wisdom.
Oh,
And
incredible.
here's one more comment. Always great to listen to Dr. Betters. It's a joy to work
Oh,
with her.
thank you.
And this is from Gabby.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, Gabby.
Hi. Hey.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's 2:00 and we do have to end the show. Oh, and I catch my husband really quick. He just put a comment in. Oliver, I didn't see what you, I think it's a smiley face. Is that what he did? Thank you, Oliver, because we have to call. And Adiola says, leave your, she said she loves your oatmeal story. That's what she said.
Oh, so kind. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have to go. God bless each and every one of you, and we'll see you next
Thank
Sunday.
you for having me. Bye-bye,
You're
everybody.
welcome. You're welcome. Bye-bye, everybody. Let's see. Oh, there we go.